Well, I'm delighted to say that I can now be joined by Albie Amankona, political commentator and also co-founder of Conservatives Against Racism. Morning, Albie.
Good morning.
Good to have you on the line. Tell us more then, firstly, if you wouldn't mind, especially for the benefit of our listeners, about your organisation, you know, how long it's been going, and what do you feel you have achieved to date then when it comes to, well, hopefully promoting good race relations?
Absolutely. So Conservatives Against Racism was founded 2 summers ago in the aftermath of the murder of George Floyd over in the US, because we felt that the conversation about race relations in the United Kingdom post that seminal moment in global race relations, if you like, was not really happening in a proper and correct way. And there were people both on the left wing of politics, on the right and on the right wing of politics, not really getting it right. So that's why we started the organisation, and we work with an advisory board of about 10 MPs to improve the conversation about race relations in the Conservative Party and in the wider country.
So how important is it that in 2022 now, the Tory party has indeed a woman and an ethnic minority candidate as the final contenders? One of them will be our next PM.
Yes, indeed. I think it is. It's a moment that the Conservative Party can be proud of, yet again, leading the way when it comes to diverse and talented prime ministers, we hope. So we'll either have the first ethnic minority prime minister in Rishi Sunak or the third woman prime minister in Liz Truss. But really, I think what matters, what will be mattering to members now over the next 7 weeks is not necessarily whether or not it's a woman or an ethnic minority, but it'll be about their ideas. And there's going to be a real battle of ideas now within the Conservative Party about low taxes, about the cost of living crisis, about how we fund and support the NHS, about how we support the war effort in Ukraine over the next 7 weeks. And then the membership will decide who is crowned the next Prime Minister.
Just getting back to the point of, you know, Conservatives Against Racism, for many people, the makeup of the Johnson government has indeed been hugely diverse and surely to be celebrated. You know, it remains so diverse with the greatest departments of state headed up by British Asians, former immigrants and women. Well, fair to say, well, I'm sure you'd agree, Labour rather trails in much of that.
Yes, Labour does trail when it comes to cabinet ministers and leadership contenders, but actually when it comes to the Parliamentary Labour Party, there are more ethnic minority Labour MPs than there are ethnic minority Conservative MPs. It just seems that the Conservative MPs rise to higher positions quicker. So I don't want to unnecessarily bash Labour, and they have done a lot for race relations over their time in Parliament. It really is only in recent time that the Conservative Party have been doing much better when it comes to promoting people to higher office. But ultimately, as I said, what matters in the Conservative Party mostly are people's ideas, people's talents and people's ability to get the job done. I think it's actually a legacy of David Cameron's Conservative Party A-list, which has led to the diverse slate of candidates that we've seen and the diverse slate of Conservative MPs that we see in Parliament today.
Being a political commentator then, how tough a summer do you think our Foreign Secretary and former Chancellor now have as they, as it were, go to the grassroots, to the Tories in the shires and beyond, the Red Wall seats? You know, as Liz Truss says, she would immediately cut taxes should she get the keys to number 10, while the former Chancellor insists he will govern as a Thatcherite. What do you think grassroots members are going to make of that?
I think when we think about the grassroots members, what's interesting is where we're starting from. So I think most polls put Liz Truss about 20 points ahead of Rishi Sunak, whereas Rishi Sunak came out ahead when it came to the MPs' votes. So there seems to be a difference between the Parliamentary Conservative Party and the membership of the Conservative Party. But of course, the electorate that matters now is the membership of the Conservative Party, and it will be tough. You'll have both leaders throughout the summer trying to show their credentials of how to run the economy. How is Rishi Sunak going to run the economy better than he has done over the last 2 years? And how is Liz Truss going to run the economy completely differently to the government that she was a part of for, she's been in cabinet now since 2014. So I think both of them have got a bit of a sticky wicket to begin with, because I think people wanted change, but actually we're going to get more of the same. So how are they going to package up more of the same as being different to Boris Johnson, when actually both of them have been integral parts of this government, and Liz Truss has been part of the Conservative cabinet since 2014?
And that widely reflected too across this morning's front pages, fair to say. Front of the Telegraph, advantage Truss now in the race to be PM. Foreign Secretary, the favourite to defeat Sunak after Tory MPs vote her into final two. Front of the Times, Sunak, pick me or lose power at the next general election. Well, I thought there was an interesting comment headline from Ruth Davidson saying, this is no moment to gamble. Sunak has been tested and is ready to lead. Fair point?
Yes, I think that's a fair point, but someone that was on Liz's team would say that it's not taking a gamble with Liz because she's been in cabinet since 2014. That these are both very experienced candidates and their teams will make comments about their competence. I think they both have shown themselves to be competent ministers. Ruth might say one thing, someone like Steve Baker might say something else about Liz Truss. What matters now is what the members think about the two leadership contenders, and it's going to be a tough summer of them trying to convince members that they are the person that is worth voting for.
Really good to have you on the line today. Get your assessment. Thank you very much indeed. Albie Amankona there, political commentator.